just so weird.
Yeah, I was weird.
Oh,
I didn't know how to
righty.
make that work, so I
Alright,
started.
let's be going.
She put a great job. I think she thinks you're retarded, so she's
Maybe we'll soon.
Okay, we're going to pick up where we left off last week, learning different things about your camera and different setting options. So last week we learned kind of the basics of what makes exposure work. And it's two different settings on your camera, your aperture and your shutter speed, right? Those control how much light gets in, therefore what your picture looks like. And we also talked about ISO, which is in old school, the actual speed of the film or how sensitive it was to light. And on your digital cameras, it's how the sensor artificially boosts the signal of the light and makes it brighter. So when I was walking around, I saw a few of your ISO examples that were really good. I mean, a really dark picture made really light by bumping up your ISO. So there's a few different things we can do, but there's actually even more built into your cameras. And especially on point and shoots, you're going to have several of these. But on the SLR cameras, you might have a few more of these options. So f-stop, we talked about that, right? That's your aperture. So what is a stop? Really what a stop is it's letting in, each time you change from one number to another, it's actually letting in double the light, or if you go the opposite direction, it's letting in half the amount of light. That's a big difference, right? Just in one stop. So because of that, we're going to learn today that there's some baby steps you can take in between. So, still didn't fix this, gosh darn it. Pretend that says 11, not 16. These are the f-stops on your camera that could be available. And typically, unless you have really good lenses, you're not getting down in the super low zone, in this 1s and 2s. And some of your lenses are not going to get all the way up here into the 32s and 45s. But typically, most of you probably are between maybe 2.8, 4, up to probably 22. But the thing is, these are weird numbers. They don't go down by any rational number counting system, although they actually do when we learn that. But going from an 11 to an 8, which hole is bigger? Which one's letting in more light? F11 or F8? 8's letting in more light, right? It's a bigger hole. So from here to here, you've actually doubled the light. If you go from 11 to 16, that's an even smaller hole. You have the amount of light that's getting in. So these are whole entire stops, one stop on the camera. And because of that, you have a variety of ways of setting your camera to get a good exposure. So the f-stops, the full list is right here, and again, it's kind of confusing. But if you remember this first number and you double it, it goes 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. That actually kind of makes sense. And the second number, 1, 4 doubles to 2, 8, doubles to 5, 6. So they do kind of make sense when you look at it that way. In this class, I believe people have actually used film cameras, right? We established that. In my other class, nobody's ever touched a film camera, but you guys, a few of you have, right? Okay. Years ago, like let's talk our maybe parents, grandparents, probably our parents, grandparents. Everybody had film cameras, and they were Kodachrome, Kodak film, and it was transparency film, slide film. Everybody shot slides, and then would make those into print sometimes. So the Kodachrome transparency film was really, really intolerant to light, and the cameras were just manual. You didn't have all these settings on here. It was turn it on, figure out your two settings, your shutter and your f-stop, know what kind of film you had in it, and take good pictures. Kind of scary. No built-in light meter, nothing like that. So they actually got good pictures, and the reason, or the way that they did it, was they knew this simple rule, and they had to base all their decisions on it. And it was called the Sunny 16 rule. So it lets you estimate the exposure between about 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. in the summer, when the sun is typically at the same intensity, if you will, all over. No matter where you are, it's not like you're going to have different lighting situations. So they used this rule. How it worked, this rule was based on incidence lighting, and it's typically more accurate than the lighting that your camera meters do, which is reflective lighting. So incident metering doesn't depend on the subject. It only depends on the source of the light, being the sun if you're outside. So Sunny 16 rule is based on the fact that the lighting is going to be pretty constant during those times. I'm just going to jump ahead, and here's what it looked like. Whoops. These were the basic rules that they knew. If it was sunny, they would set their camera to f16. That's why it's called the Sunny 16 rule. And then if it was a little bit more overcast, they'd open up a stop to 11. Really overcast, they'd stop down twice, let in double and double again the light, and then all the way down. So why this Sunny 16 rule is good to know is because our light meters can get fooled. The ones that are built into our digital cameras, they're based on this reflective light. So all the light that, what they're measuring is how light hits the subject. So it's reflecting light that's bouncing off of your face and this countertop and whatever. And the general rule of thumb in everyday world is that 18% of the light that hits something is reflected back. So it balances the light based on assuming that 18% of the light is being reflected back. So you can imagine when we had nothing but white snow out here not too long ago, way more light is being bounced back than the typical 18%, right? Way brighter. That would screw up the camera's in-camera light meter, and that's why a lot of your winter pictures look weird. They kind of look either dingy or bluish. You ever gotten back snow pictures that look kind of eh? That's because the light meter was thrown off a little bit. So this quick video, which I have to stop my recording while I'm showing it, or Lynn